Hello friends, in this lesson we will talk about the brightness and contrast adjustment. There are a number of adjustments you might want to make to your image. One of the more common one is to brighten up or darken or sharpen an image depending upon the type of image. There are lots and lots of ways of doing that in Photoshop. In the next few lessons, we will explore those methods. One of the simplest and one of the easiest ways is to use the brightness and contrast adjustment. You can find it here, image, adjustments, brightness and contrast. But if you can recall from the last lesson, we should never use the adjustments found here. Instead, always use an adjustment layer. Go to layers panel, click on this button and brightness and contrast. Our adjustment layer has been created. This brightness and contrast adjustment layer is very simple and has just these two sliders. Now if I try to bring it down, it is self-explanatory. It has reduced the brightness. If I bring it up, it increases the brightness or the exposure. Let's keep it here. Now the other one is this contrast. If I bring it down, it reduces the contrast between the light and the dark pixels. But if I bump it up, you can see that the contrast between the light and dark pixels is increased. I'll bring it back. In newer versions of Photoshop, we have this option called Use Legacy. Now if I check this on, things look pretty much the same, but with this option turned on, we might sometimes see much sharp or much harsh results. For example, if I turn it off and bring this brightness down to -90, you can see that it still manages to keep the overall exposure balanced. Now if I turn it on and bring it down to -90, you can see that overall things look much more compressed. Sometimes you may want this kind of result. For most situations, we will leave this turned off. A new feature in Photoshop CS6 is this ability to do an auto brightness and contrast. So if we click on this, Photoshop will take a minute and will give you the best settings it thinks to give an optimal look to the image. You can see that it automatically sets these values for us. So friends, this simple adjustment is very useful where you don't need much control and want to quickly adjust the brightness and contrast. But in some situations, we might want some more control. For those situations, we have these options called levels and curves. We will talk about these in a later lesson. That's all for this lesson, friends. See you in the next lesson.